Hello all and welcome to All Red. It is another massive fixture for Liverpool as they travel away to Craven Cottage against Fulham. This is going to be a tricky match because Fulham are a pretty good team. They're not super duper in form, but I think Liverpool, these have been tricky matches for Liverpool in the past. If you look at the last 5 matches between Liverpool and Fulham in the Premier League, of course, earlier in the season, it was a 2-2 draw at home. In that one, it was a red card to Andy Robertson when Andy Robertson was kind of in a weird struggle where he was just getting beat and fouling, really bad fouls, conceding penalties, getting red cards. But Liverpool, they got back into it. They scored a late goal, Diogo Jota late goal in that one to secure a 2-2 draw. Before that, in years past, seasons past, Liverpool 3-1 victory, 4-3 against Fulham at the beginning of the last season, which was a crazy match, insane, some amazing goals, some of the best goals we've seen for Liverpool in a long time in that match. And then in the season prior in 22-23, Liverpool with a 1-0 win at Anfield and then a 2-2 draw at Craven Cottage. So this is a fixture historically that has just been tricky, difficult. It's taken some magic for Liverpool to get all 3 points in this one. And so I think this is going to be a very tricky match, especially being away. We saw last season, we were able to get that 3-1 victory at Craven Cottage. So it's not like we haven't won away to Fulham. But I expect it to be difficult. Fulham they're a decent team this season. I think they currently sit 11th in the table. And, I think it's going to take a really good team performance from Liverpool to get all 3 points in this one. And honestly, let's start. Let's just look through this projected starting 11 for Liverpool and see how we feel about it going into this one. I've got some thoughts, but I think Alisson Becker should be back for this one. I think he was benched in favor of Kelleher just for precautions, I guess. But I'm hopeful that Alisson is back. Kelleher did fine. Clean sheet, great. It's just more the passing and the distribution that I think Alisson is far and away better than Kelleher, and we really miss that when Alisson is not in there. I think it's Konate and Van Dijk. Konate looked a little slow. I kind of think he's still playing injured, but he's able to play through it. And at the moment, I just don't think there's a reason to basically put Kwanzaa in there over him. That's really the only guy that would slot in there, unless Slot wanted to get really crazy and put Endo there or Gravenberch there, but really don't want to see that happen, especially against Fulham. We're going to need Konate's power and pace back there. I think it's Curtis Jones in again at right back. I was very impressed with this guy, and I kind of knew what arneslot was going to do with Curtis Jones. With Kelleher as our goalkeeper, I thought that instead of putting Kwanzaa there, I thought arneslot put Jones in there to just offset some of that distribution that we lose without Alisson at the back. And it worked. Curtis Jones won 3 out of 5 duels, and his passing percentage was the highest on the pitch against Everton, 93%. So you have a lot more control there, especially when you possess. I thought this actually allowed us to control the game, have a lot of possession, and especially in that second half, I think we just wore Everton down. It was one of those games we know that arneslot possessed the ball, kill him with the ball, and we did that. And eventually Diogo Jota got the goal, and we were able to get out of there with a 1-0 win. Sorry. Anyways, so I like Curtis Jones at right back. And I think Curtis Jones, it seemed like he was having fun. It seemed like he enjoyed it. So it wasn't one of these games where Curtis Jones is going to be really upset that now he's being played at right back. I think he loved it. And I think, why not? Like he gets in the first team and he gets to start and he gets to play a lot of minutes. He played the full game. So why not try that again? I think Curtis Jones could do really well against Fulham. And I'd like to see it. Andy Robertson had a really, really good game. He won 5 out of 5 duels against Everton. Wasn't tested a whole lot, but won every single duel that he was presented with. And he was making good runs. He was actually loosening up some of our attack when no one else was really making runs. He was making some really good overlapping runs, and I'd like to see that again. I think Andy Robertson's getting better each week, so I'd love that. Gravenberch, McAllister in the middle. Don't really see a reason to change this. I did think that Gravenberch looked a little timid. He looked a little lacking in confidence against Everton. Had a couple wayward passes that were just not like him, and then it just looked like in possession he was not really willing to take a lot of chances. and he played a lot of easy balls, which is fine, but it wasn't the Gravenberch that we've seen in the past. Now, I think he had a couple chances to shoot. He took some of them, had a really good shot that forced a save. So, it's fine. I think Gravenberch just needs to kind of get back ramped up. Hopefully he's been able to rest, and now through the end of the season, we don't have as many games, and I think Gravenberch can kind of slowly ramp back up to that. So I'm not concerned. It was just a little observation from that Everton match. I think Szoboszlai comes back in here as well. Not really another option for Slot since he doesn't really rate Elliott. With Jones, I project starting at right back. So I think Szoboszlai comes back in. We're going to need his energy. Szoboszlai was not good against Everton. There were times in the match where it just kind of looked like, we had the possession. Szoboszlai seemed to be hiding behind defenders, like he wasn't getting into those pockets of space to receive the ball. It was just kind of strange. It almost seemed like he didn't really want the ball. And then he was also timid. He had the ball at the edge of the box a couple times, and I thought he could have shot, but he didn't. He chose to pass. But I'd like to see a little bit more from Szoboszlai. We're going to need him. We're going to need his creativity. We need him to have kind of that nose for goal, because in games, I think it's going to be now through the end of the season, we're going to have a lot of defensive teams that just try to stack 10 players behind the ball and defend and look for counters. We need Szoboszlai to be able to break those low to mid blocks. So, all right. I think it's going to be Lucho and Salah on the wings. Honestly, if it were up to me, guys, this might sound crazy, but I would not start Mohamed Salah in this game. Mohamed Salah has been really poor for the last month. He has been the worst player on the pitch in 2 games over the last month, Everton, and then the first PSG game where we actually won 1-0. But in those 2 games, Salah was clearly the worst player on the pitch for either team. And I just feel like there's been a big drop-off. And I know it's hard to criticize a guy that's had over 50 goal contributions this season. I'm not saying this is like the end of Mo Salah. I'm just saying I wouldn't start him. I would bench him for a game. Give him time off, or bench him and then bring him on in the 60th or 70th minute. But Mo Salah right now is not looking very good. And I might get slated for that in the comments, but I just don't think he's been good enough. So, put somebody else in, move Diaz over to the right, or put Darwin over there, or, put Chiesa in. I don't know. I really don't understand why Slot is so allergic to playing Chiesa, because he was the only guy that scored in a very crucial match against Newcastle where we lost 2-1 in a final. Chiesa was the only one that looked half-heartedly like going to go get a goal, and he did. And so I really don't understand that, but I don't know. Mo Salah just continues to start. He continues to play almost a full game. And I don't get it, because Mohamed Salah is not in form right now. But this is the type of game where Mohamed Salah could come in, could get a goal, an assist, could get a penalty, whatever. So, I'll trust Slot on this one. But with Jota up top, I think once again, maybe Jota is back. I don't know. Apart from that goal, didn't see a whole lot from him. But he got the goal. Secured the 3 points. So I can't criticize him. This front three to me is just, I don't know. It's not super duper inspiring. I don't think Gakpo is really doing well either. He just looks slow. He's just not back yet. So, to put Gakpo in there, I don't think I'd much rather have Diaz in there right now. Diaz was the man of the match against Everton. Jota has looked a little bit slow and clunky. So I don't know. I think right now, I'd like to see Salah brought down to the bench and maybe Chiesa put in there at the right wing just to switch things up a little bit, because it just seems like we're kind of, I don't know, over the last month, it's just been interesting. So anyways, enough of that. This is the starting 11 I have projected. I think it's a good starting 11. I just have question marks on the attack, because apart from that Jota goal against Everton, we didn't really look like we were going to do a whole lot. There were a couple other chances. We controlled the game, but when it gets to that final third, there's just a lot of standing around. So, all right, so that's what I've got. Let's look at my score predictions. I think Fulham at Craven Cottage will score a goal. I hope I'm wrong. I think Liverpool actually have the capacity to get a clean sheet in this one, but typically it's difficult to get a clean sheet for Liverpool against Fulham. And in particular, Fulham tend to score early against Liverpool. So I hope that doesn't happen. But I do have Liverpool winning this 2-1. I could easily see this one being a draw, and I think I've projected this one to be a draw in the past. But I think Liverpool, in their current form, they get three more points and get ever so closer to that Premier League title number 20. Let me know what you think in the comments. Up the Reds.